I remember the day I
What
met
is
Mark like it was
this?
yesterday. It was a crisp
How
autumn
could
afternoon in our
you?
small town park. Leaves were turning shades of red and gold, crunching under my feet as I walked my dog
What
Buddy.
is this?
I was 22,
How
fresh out of
could you?
college, working at a little coffee shop downtown. Life felt simple then, full of possibilities, but nothing too grand. Mark was sitting on a bench, reading a book about history, his glasses slipping down his nose. He looked up when Buddy tugged me over, tail wagging wildly. "Hi there," he said with a shy smile. "Your dog seems to think we're friends already." I laughed, and we started talking about books, about our dreams, about how the world seemed too big sometimes. He was kind, with a quiet strength that made me feel safe. We exchanged numbers that day, and soon our talks turned into dates. Walks in the park became dinners at cozy restaurants. He told me about his job as a teacher, how he loved helping kids learn. I shared my hopes of starting a family one day, of building a home filled with love. Our wedding was beautiful. Just family and close friends in a garden under blooming flowers. I wore a simple white dress, and Mark looked at me like I was the only person in the world. "I promise to always be there for you," he whispered during our vows. I believed him. We honeymooned by the lake, holding hands as we watched the sunset. Those early years were sweet. We bought a small house with a picket fence, planted a garden in the back. I got a job as a nurse, helping people heal, while Mark taught history at the local high school. Life settled into a rhythm. Mornings with coffee and kisses goodbye,
What is
evenings cooking
this?
together, laughing over
How
silly mistakes
could
in the kitchen.
you?
We talked about kids, maybe 2 or 3, a boy and a girl, I'd
What
say,
is
and he'd nod,
this?
eyes sparkling.
How
But time
could
passed and
you?
kids didn't come easy. We tried, but months turned into years with no luck. Doctors said it was stress, or maybe just bad timing. It hurt, but we held each other through it. "We'll be okay," Mark would say, pulling me close. I trusted that. That's when Lisa came into our lives more deeply. She had been my friend since high school, always the fun one, with her bright laugh and adventurous spirit. After college, we drifted a bit, but when she moved back to town, we reconnected. She was single, working as a graphic designer from home. "You two are my favorite couple," she'd say when she came over for dinner. We'd play board games, share stories. Lisa became like family. She was there for me when work got tough, listening to my worries over tea. Mark liked her too, said she brought energy to our quiet life. But looking back, there were small signs, tiny cracks I didn't notice then, like how Mark and Lisa would share inside jokes from times they'd hung out without me. "Remember that movie we watched?" she'd say, and he'd chuckle. I thought it was harmless, friends bonding. Or how he'd stay late at school events, saying he had papers to grade. I'd wait up, but he'd come home tired, kissing my forehead before bed. I felt a distance sometimes, but chalked it up to life getting busy. One evening, I came home early from a shift. The house was quiet, but I heard voices in the living room. Mark and Lisa were there, sitting close on the couch, watching an old film. Nothing wrong really, just friends, but the way she leaned her head on his shoulder, it felt off. I brushed it away, joined them with a smile. "Room for one more?" I asked. They scooted over, but the air felt different, thicker. As months went by, those moments added up. Mark's phone would buzz late at night. "Just work," he'd
What
mumble,
is
turning it off.
this?
Lisa started canceling
How
plans with me,
could
saying
you?
she was swamped. But she'd still drop by when I was at work, leaving notes like "brought cookies for you too." I
What is
appreciated it,
this?
but a quiet doubt crept in.
How
Was I
could you?
imagining things? Marriage isn't perfect, I told myself.
What is
We had our
this?
good times too. A
How
weekend
could
trip to the
you?
mountains, where we hiked and talked about our future. "I love you more every day,"
What
Mark said
is
by the campfire.
this?
I believed him,
How
held
could
on to that
you?
warmth. But the doubts lingered, like shadows at the edge of the light. I started paying more attention, noticed how he'd smile at his phone, then put it away when I entered the room, how Lisa's hugs felt a bit too long when she said goodbye. Then came that fateful Tuesday. I decided to surprise him. Picked up ingredients for lasagna, his favorite. The drive home, I sang along to the radio, feeling hopeful. Maybe tonight we'd talk, really connect again. I parked quietly, wanting the surprise to be perfect. Up the stairs, bags in hand. That's when I heard the laughter. Soft, intimate. My heart skipped, the door ajar, pushing it open. The world froze. Mark and Lisa in our bed, clothes scattered. Their faces turned to me, pale with shock. "What? What is this?" I whispered, bags dropping, apples rolling across the floor. Mark scrambled up. Honey, it's not. But it was. Lisa pulled the sheet over herself, eyes wide. I'm so sorry, she mumbled. I couldn't breathe. Turned and ran down the stairs, out to the porch, sat there, tears streaming. How long? Why? The questions swirled. That night Mark tried to talk. It just happened, he said. We didn't mean to hurt you. Lisa left quietly, avoiding my gaze. I locked myself in the guest room, the pain like a knife in my chest. But as the hours passed, sadness turned to something else, a quiet resolve. This wasn't the end of me. I thought about our life, our home, our savings, everything we'd built. He didn't deserve it, not after this. I wiped my tears, picked up my phone, called a lawyer friend. I need advice, I said softly. What happened next changed everything. But that's for later. For now, let's go back a bit more. To understand how we got here, I need to share the full story of our early days. The joys, the little hurts, the signs I missed. Mark grew up in a big family, the middle child of 5. Always the peacemaker, he said. His parents divorced when he was 10, and it left him wary of conflict. I hate fighting, he'd tell me. That's why our arguments were rare, but when they happened, they'd simmer under the surface. Like the time we disagreed about money. I wanted to save for a house. He wanted a new car. We talked it out, but I felt he gave in too easily. Resentment hid in those easy agreements. My own childhood was quieter. Only child, parents still together, but distant. They worked a lot, so I learned independence early. Nursing suited me, helping others heal what I couldn't in myself. When Mark and I met, he filled that gap, made me feel seen. Our first date was at a fair. Cotton candy, rides, his hand in mine. You're special, he said. I fell hard. Early marriage was an adventure. We decorated our home with thrift store finds. Painted walls late into the night. Laughed when the paint splattered. Intimacy was easy then, nights tangled in sheets, whispering dreams. But as years passed, work took over.
How could
My shifts
you?
at the hospital grew longer. His grading piled up. We drifted into routines. Love you, we'd say, but the spark dimmed. Lisa was a constant. She'd call me for advice on dates, but none stuck. I envy what you have, she'd say. I introduced her to Mark's friends, hoping she'd find someone. Never thought she'd look closer to home. One barbecue, I caught them talking alone in the kitchen, heads close, laughing. Just sharing recipes, Mark said later. I believed him. Fertility struggles hit hard. Tests, treatments, negative results. It's okay, Mark comforted. But I saw his disappointment too. We grew apart in our grief. He'd go out with friends. I'd stay home reading. Lisa was there, listening. You deserve better, she once said. I thought she meant support. Small betrayals built. Forgotten anniversaries, canceled dates. Work. Always work. His phone guarded like a secret. I confronted once. Are you hiding something? He denied, hurt in his eyes. Trust me. I did, until I couldn't. That discovery day replayed in my mind. The shock, the hurt, but also anger simmering. I deserved more. Our joint accounts, the house in both names. He'd pay, not with violence, with justice. As I sat alone that night, plans formed, divorce papers, asset division. I'd take what was mine and more. He owned a small inheritance, stocks, every penny. But how? The lawyer said, gather evidence. I nodded, resolve growing. This is just the start. The pain was deep, but so was my strength. Keep listening, there's more to how I turned betrayal into empowerment. After that night, the house felt empty, like all the warmth had leaked out through the cracks. I woke up the next morning with puffy eyes.
What is this?
Staring at the ceiling in the guest room.
How could you?
Mark had slept on the couch, or at least that's where I found him, wrapped in a blanket, looking as broken as I felt. He tried to talk again.
You?
Please, let's sit down, he said softly. I shook my head, poured my coffee, and left for work without a word.
What is this?
Silence was my shield then.
How could
At
you?
the hospital, the day blurred. Patients came and went, their stories of pain mirroring my own. A woman in room 204 talked about her divorce, how she found strength in the ruins. You rebuild, she said, squeezing my hand. I nodded, but inside, questions swirled. How do you rebuild when the foundation was a lie? Lisa texted me that morning. I'm so sorry. Can we talk? I deleted it. No words could fix this. Driving home, I thought about our life together. The vacations, the quiet Sundays. Was it all fake? I stopped at a park, the same one where we met. Sat on that bench, watching leaves fall. Memories flooded back. Good ones, tainted now. His smile, her laugh. How long had this been going on? Weeks, months. I needed answers, but not from them, from facts. That evening, Mark was waiting. I love you, he started. It was a mistake. I sat across from him, arms folded. How many times? I asked calmly. He looked down. A few. Lisa had been coming over when I worked late shifts. We connected, he said. Like that explained it. Connected? On what? Betrayal? I didn't yell, just listened, my heart aching. I want you to leave, I finally said. He nodded, packed a bag, went to a hotel. The door closed, and the quiet hit harder. Alone, I wandered the house, opened drawers, looked at photos. In his study, I found his laptop. Password was our wedding date. Ironic. Emails popped up, messages to Lisa, sweet and secret. Can't wait to see you. Dates matched my shifts. My stomach turned.
What is this?
I took screenshots, saved them to a USB.
How could you?
Evidence, the lawyer had said. This was step one. My lawyer, Anna, was an old friend from nursing school. Sharp, kind eyes. We met at a cafe the next day. Infidelity isn't grounds for much in no-fault states, she explained simply. But we can go for assets. House, savings, his pension. Mark made more as a teacher with tenure. I had my nurse salary, but we'd shared everything. Gather more, she advised. Bank statements. Anything showing he hid money. I nodded, resolve growing. Back home, I went through papers. Found statements. Odd transfers to an account I didn't know. Small amounts, but regular. To Lisa? No, a separate savings. For our future, he'd once said. Our future. Ha. I copied it all. Called my sister, Emily. She lived 2 hours away, always my rock. Come stay, she offered. But I stayed put. This was my home, too. Days blurred into a routine of pain and planning. Work kept me sane, helping others heal, while I bled inside. Colleagues noticed. You okay? One asked. I smiled faintly. Just tired. Nights were harder. I'd lie awake, replaying moments. Like our last anniversary. He gave me flowers. She texted him that night. Clues everywhere. Lisa tried again. Showed up at my door one evening. Eyes red. I never meant to hurt you, she said. I let her in, curious. Why? I asked quietly. She cried. Loneliness. He was there. Excuses. We've ended it, she promised. Too late. I nodded, showed her out, but her words lingered. Loneliness. I'd felt it too, but never betrayed.
Where
Mark
were you on the
called
night
daily.
of the 15th?
Can we try counseling?
I was at home
I
with my
considered it
family.
for a moment,
Can anyone
but trust
verify
was
that?
shattered. No,
Your
I
Honor,
said.
the evidence
He
clearly
sighed.
shows
I
my
messed
client
up.
acted in
Understatement.
self-defense.
I
The
hung up,
prosecution
focused on
maintains
facts,
it was an act of
hired a
aggression.
private investigator, quietly. Friend's
Where were you on the
recommendation.
night of the 15th?
Discreet, she said.
I was
He
at
followed
home
Mark
with
to
my
the hotel,
family.
then to Lisa's
Can
place.
anyone verify
Photos
that?
came back, them meeting, hugging. More evidence. Emotional waves hit. One night I broke down in the shower, sobs mixing with water. Why me? What did I miss? Signs flashed. His late nights, her frequent visits, the way they'd glance at each other. Blind, I'd been. But now, eyes open. I journaled, poured out feelings. I deserve better, I wrote. Strength built from ashes. Anna reviewed the evidence. Strong case for unequal division, she said. Emotional distress, hidden assets. Mark had used joint money for gifts to Lisa. Receipts proved it. We'll file, she decided. I signed papers, hands steady. This was revenge, quiet and legal. Every penny he'd lose would be my gain. But doubt crept in. Was this right? We had good years, kids we dreamed of, never had. Infertility scarred us both. Maybe that's why he strayed. Grief unspoken. I almost called him. Instead, I walked, breathed fresh air. No, I whispered. Betrayal has no excuse. Confrontation came. Mark wanted to meet. Neutral ground, a park. He looked thinner, sad. I signed the papers, he said. Wait, I hadn't served yet. What papers? He meant separation agreement. His version, generous to me. Take the house, he offered. Guilt? I stared. Why? He teared up. I love you still. Words hollow now. I walked away, heart twisting. Part of me ached for what was, but the other part? fired up. He'd offered little. I'd take more. Anna smiled when I told her. Leverage. We pushed forward. Nights grew longer. Friends rallied. Dinners. Support. You're strong, they said. I felt it budding. Lisa faded. Moved away, rumors said. Good riddance. Then a twist. Investigator found more. Mark had a side gig. Tutoring. Cash undeclared. Hidden income. Jackpot, Anna said. We amended filings. He'd lose half. No, more. Emotional peak hit during mediation. We sat across. Lawyers present. Mark pleaded. Please, not everything. I met his eyes. You took my trust. Now I take what's fair. Calm words, but inside, storm raged. He signed, defeated. But wait. What came next? The court date loomed, secrets still unfolding. One more discovery would change it all. Keep listening. The storm was just beginning. As I drove home from mediation, rain poured. Wipers swished, matching my thoughts. Past blended with present. Our first home. Tiny apartment. Laughter echoing. Now, echoes of deceit. I stopped at a light, tears blurring. Why her? My best friend. Double betrayal, cut deep. Flashback. Girls' nights with Lisa, sharing secrets, dreams. I'll always have your back, she'd said. Lies. Mark's family. His mom called. He's sorry, she pleaded. I hung up. No more. Strength grew. I redecorated. New pillows. Paint. My space now. Joined a support group. Women like me. Stories shared. You survive, one said. I nodded, healing starting, but anger simmered quietly. Not rage, determined fire. Every penny meant freedom. His inheritance, from his dad, invested wisely. We'd use some for the house. Now, I'd claim share. Anna prepared arguments. Adultery impacts division in some cases, she noted. Evidence mounted. Emails, photos, statements. Ironclad. Mark tried once more. Letter and mail. Forgive me? I burned it. No. Then the call. Investigator. Found something big. Bank records showed transfers to Lisa. Loans. Disguised. Fraud, Anna exclaimed. Case strengthened. Court approached.
Where were you on the
Nerves
night
built.
of the 15th?
Would he fight or
I
fold?
was at home with
This
my
rising
family.
tension, doubts,
Can anyone
discoveries
verify
shaped
that?
me from broken to
Your
bold.
Honor, the
But the
evidence
turning
clearly
point?
shows my
That's
client
next.
acted in
The
self-defense.
court date arrived
The
like a
prosecution
storm cloud
maintains it
that
was
had
an
been
act of
gathering for
aggression.
weeks. I dressed simply
Where
that
were
morning.
you on the night of the
A gray
15th?
blouse, black
I
pants,
was at home
nothing
with my
flashy.
family.
I wanted to
Can
look
anyone
composed,
verify that?
not vengeful. But inside, my heart raced. Anna met me outside the courthouse, her briefcase in hand. We've got this, she said with a reassuring smile. I nodded, but my hands trembled as we walked in. The building was cold, echoing with footsteps and hushed voices. We sat in a waiting area, watching other couples argue in whispers or stare blankly at the walls. Mark was there too, with his lawyer, a stern man in a suit. He glanced at me, eyes full of regret. Can we talk? He mouthed. I looked away. No more words. The judge called our case, and we entered the courtroom. Wooden benches, a high desk. It felt like a scene from a movie, but this was my life. We stood as the judge entered, an older woman with kind but firm eyes. Be seated, she said. Anna presented first. Your Honor, this is a case of marital dissolution due to infidelity and financial misconduct. She laid out the evidence calmly. Emails, photos, bank statements. My client has suffered emotional distress, and we seek an equitable but adjusted division, including half of the hidden assets and inheritance. The judge nodded, flipping through papers. Mark's lawyer countered. No proof of intent to defraud, he argued. A mistake, yes, but not malice. Mark sat quietly, head down. Then it was my turn to speak. The judge asked if I had anything to add. I stood, voice steady at first. We built a life together, I began. 12 years of trust, dreams. But he broke that with my best friend, and hid money, our money, for his secrets. My voice cracked then. I trusted him, her too. Now I just want what's fair. Tears welled, but I held them back. The judge listened, expression softening. Mark spoke next. I regret everything, he said softly. I love her still. Please, don't take it all. His words stung, like salt in a wound. Love? After this? The judge recessed for a moment, and we waited in tension, whispers between lawyers. My mind raced back to happier times, our wedding dance, slow and sweet. How did we get here? When court resumed, the judge ruled preliminarily. Evidence shows misconduct, she said. I'll award the house to the petitioner, half the savings, and a portion of the pension. But then, a pause. Regarding the inheritance, it's separate property unless commingled. Anna jumped in. It was used for joint expenses, Your Honor. Debate ensued. Mark looked pale. In the end, she sided with us. 30% of his inheritance to me. For the distress caused, she added. Walking out, relief mixed with sorrow. Mark approached. I'm sorry, he whispered. Truly. I met his eyes. Goodbye, Mark. That was it, but as I drove home, something nagged.
Your Honor,
The investigator's last call echoed. One more thing. He had dug deeper, found emails from months back, not just affair details, but plans. We could start over, Mark wrote to Lisa, with the money I've set aside.
With my family.
Set aside?
Can anyone
More hidden
verify
funds?
that?
I called Anna
Your Honor,
immediately.
the evidence
There's
clearly
more,
shows
I
my
said.
client acted
She
in
sighed.
self-defense.
Post-ruling,
The prosecution
complicated.
maintains it was an act
But
of
we filed a
aggression.
motion to reopen. Fraud allegation.
Where were you on
The
the
turning
night of the
point
15th?
hit then. Digging through
I was
old
at
boxes
home
in the
with my
attic that night,
family.
I found a folder.
Can anyone verify
Tucked
that?
away, statements from an offshore account. Small deposits over years. His tutoring cash, funneled away. Total, over 50,000. For emergencies, he'd once said. Emergencies like running off with her? My hands shook as I scanned them. Dates matched a fair start. Transfers to Lisa's name, too. This wasn't just cheating. It was theft. Planning to leave me destitute. The betrayal deepened. I cried then, hard and long, not for love lost, but for the illusion shattered. Who was this man I married? Anna was thrilled. This changes everything, she said next day. Contempt of court if hidden during proceedings. We amended fast. Mark's lawyer called, frantic. Settle out of court? No. I wanted justice. Confrontation came via phone. Mark begged. Please don't. I stayed calm. You chose this. Hung up. Strength surged. No more victim. I was reclaiming. But wait, a bigger shock awaited. Lisa's involvement ran deeper. Investigator found her emails. Used the account for our new life. They planned to flee? My blood chilled. Court reconvened weeks later. Judge furious at new evidence. This borders on perjury, she warned Mark. He admitted. Head bowed. I was scared. Scared? Of losing what he stole? Ruling shifted. Full half of everything, including the hidden account. Plus penalties. For the deceit, Judge said. Mark left broken. Me, empowered but scarred. Emotional breaking point came that night. Alone, I reflected. Pain of double betrayal, husband and friend. But from ruins I rose. Quiet revenge, not screams, but signatures on papers. Yet, one last twist. A letter from Lisa arrived. I have something to tell you. What now? Keep listening. The resolution unfolds with more heartache and healing. As I sat with the letter, unopened at first, memories flooded. Our friendship, school days, secrets shared. How she stood as maid of honor at my wedding, toasting our happiness. Irony bitter now. Opened it slowly. Her words. He lied to me too. Promised forever, but used me. Claims of manipulation. The money was his idea. Excuses or truth? Doubted, but pondered. Called investigator. Check her story. Results, partial truth. Mark initiated, but she knew. Still complicit. Decided, no contact. Focus on me. Sold the house. Too many ghosts. Bought a smaller place, cozy and mine. Started therapy. Unpacking grief. Friends helped. Emily visited, hugs and talks. Proud of you, she said. I smiled. First real one in months. Financially secure now. Every penny taken. His savings. Inheritance share. Hidden funds. Total. Enough for a fresh start. Invested wisely, per Anna's advice. But healing slow. Walks in the park. Alone now. Buddy by my side. Loyal, unlike some. Thought of future, maybe love again. Cautious. Mark moved away, teaching elsewhere. Lisa too, gone from town. Closure, partial.
So
The letter burned in my
peaceful out
mind.
here.
Her plea.
What do you
Forgive?
think, buddy?
No. But pity stirred. Both lost. This breaking point, revelations piling,
It's so
tested me.
peaceful out
Emerged
here.
stronger. But the
What
aftermath?
do you think,
That's where
buddy?
true change began. Hold on. Hope glimmers ahead. After
buddy,
the
you
final court
enjoying the
ruling,
sunset
the
too?
papers were signed and it was done.
Yeah, such a good
I walked out of
boy.
that building feeling lighter, but also strangely empty. The house was mine to sell. the accounts divided, and every hidden penny uncovered and claimed. Mark had nothing left but his job and regrets. I didn't celebrate. No champagne or cheers. Just a quiet drive home, windows down, letting the wind carry away the last bits of anger. That night, I sat on the porch with a cup of tea, watching the stars. "It's over," I whispered to myself. Over, but the healing was just starting. The days that followed were a mix of relief and ache. I packed up the house slowly, room by room. Each item held a memory. The coffee mug he loved, the photo albums from our trips. I kept some, donated others. Emily came to help, her presence a balm. "You're doing great," she said, folding clothes into boxes. We talked for hours, about the good times and the bad. "He wasn't who I thought," I admitted. She hugged me. "But you are stronger than you know." Selling the house was bittersweet. The realtor walked through, noting the garden we planted together. "Charming place," she said. It sold quick, to a young couple full of dreams. As I handed over the keys, I felt a pang. "Take care of it," I told them softly. With the money, my share plus what the court awarded, I bought a cozy apartment downtown. Smaller but mine, no echoes of the past. I decorated with soft colors, plants on the windowsill, Buddy curled up on the new rug, content. Financially, things shifted. Anna had made sure I got every penny he owned or hid. The hidden account alone was a windfall, enough to pay off debts and invest. I met with a financial advisor, a kind woman named Grace. "Smart move," she said, reviewing the numbers. "You'll be secure." Secure, a word I hadn't felt in months. I started a savings plan, even a little fund for travel. One day, I thought, I'll see the world on my own terms. But the emotional aftermath hit in waves. Some days, I'd wake up sad, missing the life I thought we had. Therapy helped. My counselor, Dr. Lee, listened without judgment. "Betrayal changes you," he said gently, "but it doesn't define you." We unpacked the pain, the trust broken, the friendship lost. "Forgiveness isn't for them," he explained. "It's for you." I nodded, but it took time. One session, I cried about Lisa. She was like a sister. Dr. Lee paused, grieved the loss, then let go. Letting go came slowly. I joined a yoga class, breathing through the poses, finding calm in the stretch. Met new people, women with their own stories. I went through something similar, one shared over coffee. "It gets better." Their words echoed, building my hope. Work at the hospital felt meaningful again. Helping patients heal reminded me I could heal too. Mark reached out once more, a letter in the mail. "I hope you're well," he wrote. "I've started therapy. No pleas, just updates."
So
Focusing on
peaceful
teaching.
out here.
Lisa, gone
What do
from
you
his life
think,
too.
buddy?
I didn't reply, but the anger faded. Not forgiveness yet.
Hey, buddy,
Maybe
you
never
enjoying
fully,
the
but
sunset
acceptance.
too?
They made their
Yeah,
choices, I
such a
told
good
Emily.
boy.
She smiled. "And you made yours." Quiet strength grew.
It's
I volunteered
so
at a
peaceful
shelter,
out
helping
here.
women in tough spots.
What do you
Shared
think,
my story
buddy?
anonymously, saw nods of understanding. "You took control," one woman said. It empowered me. Every penny I took wasn't just money. It was freedom. Freedom to start over, to dream again. One evening, walking Buddy, I met a neighbor, Tom. Friendly chats turned to coffee. No rush, just connection. Take it slow, I reminded myself. Life felt open now. But realization hit during a quiet moment. Sitting by the window, rain pattering, I thought of the betrayal. Not with pain, but clarity. "I survived," I whispered. More, I thrived. The legal battles, the evidence gathering, they taught me resilience. No more blind trust, but wiser love. Closure came in small ways. Burning old letters, planting new flowers. A trip to the lake, our honeymoon spot, now mine alone. I sat by the water, reflecting. "Thank you for the lessons," I said to the past. Wind carried it away. Yet as peace settled, a subtle lesson emerged. Life's not about revenge, but reclaiming your worth. I felt warm, hopeful. But what of the future? Twists still lingered, like an unexpected call that changed my path. Keep listening. The ending brings warmth and a gentle close. As I settled into my new life, friends noticed the change. "You glow," one said. I laughed softly. Yes, from ashes. Investments grew, Grace's advice paid off. Secure, I donated to causes, betrayal support groups. Giving back healed. Tom became a friend, sharing stories. No romance yet, but possibility. You've been through a lot, he said one day. I nodded, and come out stronger. Dr. Lee praised progress. You're rebuilding beautifully. Sessions fewer now. Emily visited often. Proud sister, she teased. We cooked, laughed, like old times, but better. The moral whispered, betrayal hurts, but it reveals your strength. Hold on to hope. It lights the way. But before we end, one last reflection. That call? From Anna with news. A settlement bonus, she said. More pennies? No, something deeper. Hold on, the conclusion awaits with final warmth. As the months turned into a year, I found myself in a place I never expected. Whole again in my own quiet way. The apartment had become a home, filled with little joys, books on the shelves, fresh flowers from the market, and Buddy's toys scattered like reminders of simple happiness. I looked back on the storm that had swept through my life, not with bitterness, but with a soft understanding. Betrayal had torn me down, but in the rebuilding, I discovered parts of myself I never knew existed. Strength hidden in the shadows of pain. One morning, I woke to sunlight streaming through the curtains. No heavy heart, just a gentle peace. I made coffee, sat by the window, and thought of Mark. Not the man who hurt me, but the one I once loved. He had faded into a memory, living his life elsewhere. No more calls, no more letters. Lisa, too, gone, perhaps carrying her own regrets. I didn't wish them ill. Life has a way of teaching its lessons to everyone. For me, the lesson was clear. Trust is precious, but self-love is the anchor that holds you steady. I started small adventures. A weekend drive to the coast, toes in the sand, listening to waves whisper secrets. You're free, they seemed to say. I traveled to places we'd talked about but never went. A little town with quaint shops, a mountain trail with views that took my breath away. Each step felt like reclaiming lost dreams. Money from the settlement helped, every penny a stepping stone to this new chapter. I invested wisely, watched it grow, but more than that, I gave back. Donated to shelters for women starting over. Volunteered my time as a nurse in community clinics.
Such a good boy.
Helping others heal, mended the last cracks in my own heart.
Hey buddy,
Tom, the
you
neighbor,
enjoying the
became
sunset
more than a friend.
too?
We took things slow.
Yeah, such
Walks
a
with
good
Buddy,
boy.
dinners where we shared stories without rush. You've got a light about you, he said
It's
one
so
evening, his
peaceful
hand
out
brushing mine.
here.
I smiled,
What do you
feeling
think,
warmth bloom.
buddy?
Not the fiery passion of youth, but a steady glow. Life surprises you,
It's
I replied.
so peaceful
He nodded,
out
understanding.
here.
No pressure,
What do you
just
think,
possibility.
buddy?
For the first time, I felt ready, wiser, with boundaries built from experience.
It's so
Emily
peaceful
visited
out
often,
here.
our bond stronger than
What
ever.
do you think, buddy?
Look at you, she'd say, eyes shining. We'd cook family recipes, laugh about old times. Remember when we were kids? She'd ask. Yes, I did. Innocent days, before the world showed its sharper edges. But those edges shaped me. I'm grateful, I told her once. For the pain, she asked gently. For the growth, I answered. She hugged me tight. Therapy wrapped up, Dr. Lee proud. You've done the work, he said. I had. Faced the hurt, forgiven myself for not seeing signs sooner. No one sees everything, he reminded. True, we all walk with blind spots, but now mine were fewer. I journaled less about loss, more about gratitude. Simple things, a good book, a friend's call, the way rain cleans the air. One day, sorting old photos, I found our wedding picture. Smiles frozen in time. I didn't cry, just touched the glass softly. Thank you for the good, I whispered, then tucked it away. Not erased, but archived. Life moves forward, carrying the past like a gentle backpack, not a burden. The subtle moral of it all settled in my soul. Betrayal may steal your peace, but it can't take your power unless you let it. Reclaim what's yours, not with anger, but with quiet determination. And in the end, hope waits, like a dawn after the darkest night. Love yourself first. The rest follows. This journey taught me that. From shattered trust to standing tall, every step mattered. If you've walked a similar path, know you're not alone. If you stayed hooked, please like, share, and subscribe. This was my true story, Subscribe for more grandma stories. Looking back now, after all this time, I see how the pieces of my life fell apart only to come together in a new shape. It's funny how pain can carve out space for something better. I remember the first few weeks in my new apartment. Everything felt fresh, but echoes of the past still whispered in the quiet moments. I'd wake up sometimes, reaching for a hand that wasn't there, then smile at the empty side of the bed. This is mine now, I'd tell myself. Mine to fill with whatever I chose. Buddy helped a lot. That furry little guy with his wagging tail and endless energy. We'd go for long walks in the park where it all began. The same bench where Mark and I met. Now it was a place for reflection, not regret. I'd sit there, watching families play, couples stroll hand in hand. Life goes on, I'd think. And it did. One day, a little girl chased her dog past me, laughing. It reminded me of the dreams we had for kids. Those dreams didn't die. They just changed. Maybe someday I'd foster or volunteer with children. The thought warmed me. Work at the hospital took on new meaning too. I threw myself into it, not to escape, but to connect. There was this patient, an older man named Mr. Thompson. He was recovering from surgery, alone in his room. My wife left years ago. He shared one shift. Cheated with a friend. My heart skipped. "How did you heal?" I asked softly. He smiled faintly. Time, and forgiving myself for not seeing it. His words stuck with me. Forgiving myself, that was key. I hadn't caused the betrayal, I just loved fully. That conversation led me to a book club
Good
at the
morning,
library.
little one.
Simple gatherings, discussing stories of loss and
You're
love.
always so
Met
cheerful.
wonderful people there. Sarah, a widow with a kind heart. David, a
Here you
divorced
go,
dad
buddy.
sharing custody
Little
tips.
something to
We'd
warm
talk
your
late
heart.
into the evening, sharing laughs and tears.
Good boy.
"You're inspiring," Sarah said once. Me? Inspiring? It felt good. Those connections rebuilt my world, one friendship at a time. Tom and I grew closer naturally. No grand gestures, just shared moments. A picnic in the park, where we talked about our pasts. "I was married once," he admitted. Ended amicably, but it hurt. I nodded. Hurt shapes us. We held hands that day, a small step. He respected my pace, never pushing. "Whenever you're ready," he'd say. It made me feel valued, seen. One evening we cooked dinner together, pasta with fresh herbs from my window garden. Laughter filled the kitchen, chasing away old shadows. This feels right, I thought, stirring the sauce. But memories surfaced unbidden sometimes, like finding an old card from Mark in a drawer. "Happy anniversary, my love." I sat on the floor, tracing the words. Tears came, but they were softer now. Not rage, just release. I put it in a box with other keepsakes, not to hold on, but to acknowledge. "Part of my story," I whispered. Therapy had taught me that. Honor the past without letting it chain you. Financially, things blossomed. Grace, my advisor, called with updates. "Your investments are up," she said. The pennies I'd taken, every last one, had grown into security. I paid off the last of the old debts, started a fund for emergencies. Even treated myself to a spa day, something I'd never done before. "You deserve this," Emily texted when I told her. She was right. Self-care became my ritual. Bubble baths, journaling by candlelight, walks at sunset. Volunteering expanded. At the shelter, I led a group for women rebuilding after betrayal. Shared my tale gently, saw eyes light up with hope. "How did you take back control?" one asked. "One step at a time," I replied. "Gather evidence, seek help, believe in your worth." Their stories mirrored mine. Husbands, friends, lies. We cried together, then planned futures. It healed me as much as them. A year mark hit quietly. I marked it with a solo trip to the mountains. Hiked trails we once dreamed of, but now alone and strong. At the peak, wind whipping my hair, I felt free. "Thank you," I said to the sky, "for the lessons, the growth." On the way down, my phone buzzed. "Tom, miss you. Safe travels." Warp spread. Life was opening doors. Back home, Emily threw a small party. Friends, cake, toasts. "To new beginnings," she said. We laughed, shared stories. No mention of the past. Just forward. That night, alone, I reflected. Betrayal had been a teacher, harsh but
Good
honest.
morning, little
It showed me
one.
my resilience, my capacity for love despite
You're
pain.
always so
The subtle lesson:
cheerful.
life's betrayals don't define you, your response does.
Here you
Choose
go,
hope,
buddy. A
reclaim
little
your
something
story,
to
and
warm your
watch the
heart.
world brighten. But as I drifted to
Good
sleep, a
boy.
new thought stirred. What if more awaited?
Good
A
morning,
call the
little
next day
one.
would bring unexpected news. Keep listening. The
You're
journey
always so
continues with
cheerful.
surprises. I woke to the phone ringing. Anna's voice. Good news. A final settlement adjustment. More? Details unfolded. Overlooked assets, interest accrued. Another windfall. Every penny, she laughed. I smiled. Justice lingered. With it, I funded a scholarship for women starting over. Named it New Dawn. Felt right. Tom proposed a trip. Let's make memories. I agreed. Packing, excitement built. Future bright. Reflections deepened. Childhood dreams of fairy tales. Now real, with twists, stronger for it. Buddy snored beside me, loyal companion. We've got this, I whispered. This chapter closed softly, but pages turned. Time has a way of softening the edges of even the deepest wounds. As another season turned, I found myself embracing changes I once feared. My apartment, once a refuge, now felt like a canvas for new stories. I added a painting to the wall, one I bought on a whim at a local art fair. Bright colors, abstract shapes that reminded me of hope rising from chaos. This is me now, I thought, stepping back to admire it. Buddy barked his approval, tail thumping the floor. Mornings started with routine that brought comfort. Coffee brewing, the aroma filling the space. I'd journal a few lines, gratitude lists mostly, thankful for quiet days, loyal friends, and second chances. It helped ground me. Work at the hospital continued to be my anchor. There was a new nurse, young and eager, reminding me of my early days. I mentored her, sharing tips on patient care. Listen to their stories, I advised. They heal the heart as much as the body. She nodded, eyes wide. In those moments, I saw my own growth, from broken to guide. The support group at the shelter became a highlight. We met weekly, a circle of women with shared scars but fierce spirits. One evening, Maria shared her tale, similar to mine, husband and a close confidant. I took him to court too, she said softly. Got the house. We clapped, hugs exchanged. My turn came. Every penny mattered, I shared. Not for revenge, but rebirth. Nods around the room. These connections wove a safety net, reminding me I wasn't alone. Tom and I explored more, a day trip to a nearby vineyard, walking rows of grapes under the sun. Taste this, he said, offering a berry. Sweet and tart, like life. We talked dreams, his of writing a book, mine of maybe opening a small cafe one day. Why not, he encouraged.
Good morning,
Laughter
little
came
one.
easy with him. No shadows of doubt, just presence.
You're
One
always
night,
so
stars
cheerful.
above, he kissed me gently. I'm glad I met you, he whispered. Warmth spread,
Here you
not
go,
fireworks,
buddy.
but a
A
steady
little
flame.
something
Me
to
too, I
warm your
replied.
heart.
Emily's visits were treasures.
Good
She brought her
boy.
kids, niece and nephew, bundles of energy.
Good
Auntie, play,
morning,
they'd
little
beg.
one.
We'd build forts from blankets, tell silly stories.
You're
Their
always
innocence
so
healed parts of me
cheerful.
that longed for family. You're amazing with them, Emily said. I smiled. Maybe one day. The thought of fostering lingered, a seed planted, but echoes persisted. A dream one night, Mark and Lisa, laughing in our old home. I woke sweaty, heart pounding. Just a memory, I breathed. Journaled it out. Dr. Lee had tools for this. Breathing exercises, reframing thoughts. From pain to power, he'd say. It worked. Fewer nightmares, more peaceful sleeps. Financial peace grew roots. Grace updated. Portfolio strong. The settlement funds, every penny wrested from deceit, now bore fruit. I splurged wisely. A cooking class, learning Italian dishes. For the cafe dream, I told myself. Donated more to the scholarship fund. Your story inspires me. Thank you. Tears of joy then. Volunteering expanded to reading at the library for kids. Stories of adventure, lessons wrapped in fun. Once upon a time I'd begin, voices changing for characters. Their giggles mended my soul. A quiet goodbye came unexpectedly. Cleaning closets, I found a forgotten box. Wedding mementos. Veil, dried flowers. Sat with them, fingers tracing fabrics. Goodbye, I whispered, donating most. Kept one photo, for the lesson, not the love. Renewal blossomed in small ways. A garden on the balcony, herbs, flowers, watering them daily, watching growth, like me. But as calm settled, A new whisper arose. An email from an old friend. Heard from Mark. What did it say? Hold on, the past stirred once more. Keep listening, resolutions deepen. That email sat unopened at first, curiosity mixed with caution. Finally clicked. Mark's in town briefly. Wants closure. My heart skipped. Closure? After all this? Pondered over tea. Tom noticed. Your call, he said supportively. Emily advised, only if it helps you. Decided a neutral cafe meet. He looked older, lines etched. Thank you for coming, he said quietly. No anger in me. Why now, I asked. To say sorry properly and goodbye. We talked. Civil, reflective, no rehashing pain, just acknowledgement. I learned, he shared. Therapy helps. I nodded. Me too. Parted with a handshake. No hugs, but peace. Walking away, lighter. Unspoken goodbyes complete. Tom waited with dinner. How was it? Gentle concern. Healing, I replied. We ate, talked futures. Blossoms continued. Cafe idea researched. Possible, Grace said, numbers crunching. Kids' laughter echoed in dreams. Positive now. This phase, renewal, steps forward. Lessons gentle. Embrace change. Let go softly. As the days stretched into another gentle season, I felt the rhythm of my new life settle like a familiar melody. The apartment buzzed with small, everyday wonders, the chime of the coffee maker, the rustle of pages in a book, Buddy's soft snores by the door. I had come so far from that shattered moment in the bedroom doorway. Now, looking out the window at the world awakening, I saw not loss, but endless paths ahead. This is just the beginning, I whispered to the morning light. Beginnings born from endings, tender and true. My cafe dreams started taking shape in quiet ways. I spent evenings sketching ideas, a cozy spot with wooden tables, fresh baked goods, walls lined with local art. Healing Hearts Cafe, I named it in my mind. A place for people to gather, share stories over tea. Grace reviewed the numbers. Feasible, she said with a smile. With your savings, you could start small. Every penny from the settlement fueled this. Not just money,
Good morning,
but a
little
symbol of
one.
turning pain into purpose. I enrolled in a business
You're
class
always so
online,
cheerful.
learning about permits and plans. Notes-filled notebooks, excitement
Here
building
you
like
go,
a slow
buddy.
sunrise.
Little something to
Work
warm
at the
your
hospital
heart.
remained my steady ground. A
Good
promotion
boy.
came, head nurse on my floor. You've earned it, my supervisor said, patting my shoulder. More responsibility, but fulfilling. I trained others now, sharing lessons from years of care. One day, a patient thanked me. You listen like you understand, she said, eyes misty. I did. Heartbreak teaches empathy, a quiet gift. Evenings, I'd unwind with yoga, breathing deep, letting go of any lingering shadows. The support group evolved too. We organized outings, walks in the park, picnics under trees. Laughter mingled with tears, bonds strengthening. Your story gave me courage, a new member confided. I hugged her. We lift each other. These women became family, their resilience mirroring mine. Maria, from before, opened her own shop. Inspired by you, she texted. Warmth filled me, ripples from my journey touching others. Tom and I wove our lives together softly. Weekend hikes, where we'd pause at viewpoints, hands linked. What do you see? He'd ask. Possibilities, I'd reply. He shared his writing, short stories of love and loss. Read this, he'd say, pages in hand. I did, offering thoughts. Our connection deepened, built on trust earned slowly. One rainy afternoon, curled on the couch, he spoke of future. A trip together, Italy perhaps, pasta, ruins, new memories. I nodded, heart opening, yes. Emily's family grew my world. The kids called me Super Aunt, drawing pictures of our adventures. We baked cookies, messy and fun, flour on noses, giggles echoing. Love you, my niece said, hugging tight. Those moments mended the childless ache from years past. Fostering ideas simmered, applications researched, heart ready. One step, I told myself, but whispers of the past visited gently, a song on the radio. Our song. I'd pause, remember the dance, then change the station. No pain, just a nod to what was. The email from Mark's friend had led to that cafe meet, A door closed softly. No more contact since. Healing complete in its way. Renewal showed in health too. Doctor visits confirmed. Stress gone. Vitals strong. You're thriving, she said. I was. Sleep came easy. Dreams of cafes and travels. Volunteering at the library expanded to story hours for adults too. Tales of triumph. Listeners leaned in, inspired. How, one asked. Heart by heart, I answered. A new friend from class, Lena, joined coffees. Divorced too, she shared. Stories swapped, support given, network grew. But as light embraced me, a soft surprise arrived. A package in the mail, no sender. Inside, a necklace, simple pearl. Note, for new beginnings. M. Mark? Heart fluttered. What did it mean? Keep listening. Tomorrow's whispers unfold. Opening it carefully, memory stirred. Pearls from our honeymoon? No. New. Gesture of peace? I set it aside, pondering. Tom saw. From? I explained. Closure, maybe. He nodded. Your heart decides. Wore it once. Felt neutral. Donated later, to the shelter. For someone starting over. Cafe plans advanced. Location scouted. Cozy corner spot. Perfect, Emily said, touring. Tom helped paint visions. Our first date there, he teased. Kids drew menus. Kit scribbles. This blossom, tomorrow calling. Lessons, light follows dark. Embrace it. Years have a gentle way of weaving everything together. Looking back now, from this place of steady peace, the storm that once felt endless seems like a distant rain, necessary, cleansing, but long gone. My cafe opened on a bright spring morning 2 years after everything changed. Healing Hearts Cafe, the sign read in soft gold letters above the door. Inside, wooden tables glowed under warm lights. Shelves held books people could borrow, and the air smelled of fresh bread and coffee. I stood behind the counter that first day, apron tied, heart full. Customers came slowly at first. Neighbors, friends, strangers drawn by the quiet welcome. One woman lingered longer than most. She ordered tea, sat by the window, eyes red from crying. When I brought her cup, she looked up. This place feels safe, she said softly. I nodded. It's meant to. She shared a little. Betrayal by someone close, the ache of starting over. I listened. No judgment, just understanding. It gets softer with time, I told her. She came back the next week, then the next. Soon, others joined. Small groups forming naturally, conversations flowing like the tea we poured. The cafe became more than a business. It became a haven. Buddy passed quietly one winter night, curled at my feet. I held him, tears falling, whispering thanks for every loyal mile. The emptiness hurt, but I planted a little tree in the park where we used to walk, a memorial of love that stayed. In his place came a rescue puppy, a scruffy terrier mix named Sunny. She bounded into my life with endless energy, reminding me joy can return even after goodbye. Tom proposed on a quiet evening walk along the river. No grand gesture, just us, the water lapping, a simple ring in his palm. I want to build the rest of my days with you, he said, voice steady. I looked into his eyes, kind, patient, true. Yes, I answered, tears mixing with a smile. We married in the cafe after hours, close friends only. Emily stood beside me, kids tossing petals, simple vows, spoken from the heart. I'd choose you every day, I promised. He echoed it back. No fireworks, just deep, quiet certainty. The scholarship fund grew. More young women received help. Tuition, rent, a fresh start. Letters arrived sometimes. Because of you, I finished school. I left a bad situation. Each one felt like a thread stitching the past into something meaningful. Every penny I had fought for now lived on in these lives. Proof that pain, when met with purpose, can multiply into good. Mark crossed my mind rarely, but when he did, it was without bitterness. Word reached me through a mutual acquaintance. He had remarried, found steady ground, was teaching again. I wished him well in silence. Lisa, too, somewhere out there, carrying her own story. Forgiveness didn't mean forgetting. It meant releasing the weight so I could walk lighter. One afternoon in the cafe, an older couple came in. They sat in the corner, holding hands across the table. I brought their coffees. Noticed the way they looked at each other. Comfortable, worn in love. How long? I asked gently. 42 years, the woman answered with a smile. We've had hard seasons, but we chose each other again and again. Her words settled deep. That's what I had now with Tom. Choice, daily and deliberate. Life wasn't perfect. There were still quiet evenings when old memories surfaced, when I'd sit with a cup of tea and feel the echo of what was lost. But those moments no longer swallowed me. They passed like clouds, leaving sky behind. I had learned to sit with them, then let them go. Sunny grew into a joyful companion, chasing shadows in the cafe, greeting customers with wags. Kids from the neighborhood drew pictures for the walls, stick figure families, hearts, rainbows. The space filled with color, laughter, stories. My story had become part of many. As I close this chapter, I want to leave you with the soft truth that found me. Betrayal can break your heart wide open, but what pours in afterward, love, purpose, quiet strength, can fill it fuller than before. You don't have to hate to heal. You don't have to forget to move forward. You just have to choose yourself, day after day, until the choosing becomes easy. If you've walked through fire and still stand, know this: the light finds its way back. It always does. If you stayed with me through every part of this story, thank you. It means more than words can say. Please like, share, and subscribe if these real-life journeys touch you. This was my true story. Subscribe for more grandma stories. And so here we are, at the very end of this long road I never thought I'd walk. If you've stayed with me through every part, through the laughter of early love, the slow creep of doubt, the shattering moment in that doorway, the cold courtrooms, the lonely nights, the small brave steps forward, the new cafe smelling of coffee and second chances, the wedding vows spoken in whispers, the puppy paws pattering across the floor, thank you, truly, from the bottom of my heart. You sat with me in the dark parts. You waited while I picked up every broken piece. That means more than I can ever say. Today the cafe is quiet. It's early, before the morning rush. Sunny is curled in her favorite sunbeam near the window, tail giving a lazy thump every few minutes. I'm behind the counter wiping mugs that are already clean, just for the comfort of the motion. Outside, the first customers of the day are walking past, scarves pulled tight against the autumn chill. Life keeps moving, and so do I. I think about the woman I was 12 years ago, standing in that bedroom doorway, grocery bags slipping from my fingers, watching my whole world tilt and crack. Back then I believed betrayal was the end of everything good. I thought trust, once broken, could never be rebuilt. Not in myself, not in anyone else. I was wrong. Trust isn't a single fragile thing that shatters forever. It's more like a garden. When the storm comes and rips everything up, you don't throw away the soil. You wait. You clear the debris. You plant new seeds, different ones, maybe hardier ones. You water them with patience, with therapy sessions, with long walks, with honest conversations over coffee, with people who've survived their own storms. And slowly, sometimes so slowly you almost give up, green things start to push through the dirt again. My garden looks different now. Tom's hand in mine on quiet evenings. Sunny's joyful zoomies when I come home. The sound of children laughing in the kids' corner I added to the cafe last year. The scholarship letters that arrive every few months, each one saying some version of, because someone believed in me, I believed in myself. Emily's voice on the phone, still teasing me like we're teenagers. The way complete strangers sit at my tables and tell me pieces of their hearts, trusting that this little space will hold them gently. Every penny I fought for in those courtrooms, every hidden account uncovered, every transfer traced, every legal signature, didn't just buy me freedom. It bought me this life. A life where I get to choose who sits at my table, where I get to decide what kind of love I accept, where I get to pour kindness back into the world that once poured pain over me. I don't hate Mark anymore. I don't hate Lisa. Hate is heavy, and I've carried enough heavy things. Instead, I carry a kind of distant compassion, the same way you might look at an old photograph of someone you once knew and think, we were both so young, we both made choices we didn't fully understand. I hope they found their own gardens. I really do. If I could go back and speak to that woman standing frozen in the doorway, groceries spilling at her feet, I would wrap my arms around her and whisper just 4 words. You are going to be okay. Not right away. Not easily. There will be nights you cry until there's nothing left. There will be days you don't recognize yourself in the mirror. There will be moments you think the pain will never end. But it will soften. It will change shape. And one morning you'll wake up and realize the first thing you feel isn't grief. It's curiosity about what the day might bring. That is the quiet miracle. So if you're listening to this and your heart is aching right now, if someone you loved chose someone else, if trust feels like shattered glass under your bare feet, please hear me. You are not broken beyond repair. You are in the middle of becoming someone even stronger, someone kinder to herself, someone who knows exactly what she will and will not accept ever again. Keep going. One breath, one step, one small, brave choice after another. The light always finds its way back. It found mine. And if my story helped you feel a little less alone tonight, then every tear, every courtroom, every hard morning was worth it. Thank you for walking this long path with me. If these real, raw, human stories move you, if you've cried, nodded, felt seen, please leave a like, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe so you don't miss the next grandma story. Because there are always more hearts mending out there, and more stories waiting to be told. This was my true story. Every word, every scar, every sunrise after. Good night, dear friend. May your heart be gentle with itself tonight. Subscribe for more grandma stories.